Okay, I want to live stream this one, but it takes like 24 hours or something to get verified or something on YouTube for live streaming. So for this one, I'm just going to record, and for my future podcasts, I'm going to live stream them, I think. But, hi, welcome to my first podcast. I guess in these podcasts, I'm just going to be talking about like whatever I want. And if you're interested at all, if you need to like occupy your ears or whatever while you're doing something else, um, I would be happy for you to listen. So yeah, I'll just be talking about whatever comes to my mind. So to get started, I guess the first topic is how like throughout my life I've noticed a problem that I have. It might not even be a problem. It might just be better described as like a fetish, but that's not even the right word because that's kind of sexual. I have like this really strong liking for sitting in privacy, preparing for something. Or not even in privacy, but in like preparing for something. Not even preparing. That doesn't even have the juice of what I mean. But that's the only word that like I can find. It's like I remember when I was making this bike part that we would weld onto the front of my bike that will clamp like a camera onto the front of my bike. I was a teenager when I was making this, designing it, and we were going to take it to Ocean City so that we could record on our bikes. My friend Colby and I were doing this. And I remember when we were making this, we were just talking about it with his dad once, and I felt such like this warm excitement this one time when we were going to Cracker Barrel. And we were out in the parking lot, and his dad was just like, let's go inside and talk about the piece. And just the thought of like making it and preparing for it and like planning kind of, I just always have this illusion, I guess, that a thing can be made perfect if you prepare for it the right way. And I love it almost more than when the time comes for the thing to be real. I love the preparation for it. I think it's because when it's in preparation and planning, it's like it has this infinite potential, or this like it's like it doesn't have weight yet. It could become anything. And it literally in theory could become perfect. Like tomorrow God could descend from the heavens and start helping you with whatever it is that you're planning. Like there's that much uncertainty involved with a thing that hasn't happened yet. So like I get this feeling when I'm planning that like the planning is some of my favorite part. And I just now was thinking like the reason I thought this now is because of a lot of what's on actualize.org's YouTube channel. He's this guy who has studied a lot of like psychology about women, and I just had this feeling that just listening to him talk is like more fun, or it's more fun than actually going out and practicing doing what he says in his videos. Like the before you practice, you should listen to what he says, and I just get this feeling that like if you listen to what he says enough and really go at it hard, you could become like a master at talking to chicks. It's like an illusion, obviously, but some degree of it is true. Like, you can get better and better if you listen to what he says. If, of course, what he's saying is true. I think it is. I think a lot of it is. I don't even want it to be that way. But it's just like the world I'm living in this era. A lot of what actualize.org said actually is true. But yeah. And by the way, it's weird because I just use actualize.org as an example, and I'm not even listening to his videos right now. Like, I felt this awesome desire to listen to his videos in theory. But, like, I don't even really want to do it right now. But I just thought, like, I don't know, there's warmth in the idea of listening to his videos. Because, like, there's this thought in my mind that, like, maybe I should go meet a girl. You know? Like, at a bar or something like that. And then I thought, you know what would be even more fun than going and doing that? And taking her home and fucking her? You know what would be more fun than doing that? Listening to actualize.org and listening to all of his videos to the best of my ability. But anyway, what else is there to talk about? I don't know if anybody will agree with this next topic that I'm getting ready to talk about. But, so, like, there's this distinction in people's minds that they have sometimes. And it's like there's this distinction in their words. They actually have this distinction between two subjects called book smarts and street smarts. And I was just thinking, this is like a weird distinction. Almost like, I don't know if there is such a thing as book smarts. It's like maybe a misnomer or an illusion. There are only street smarts, and some street smarts have been written on pages. And it's like, what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, what came first, the book or the street smart that the book was written on? So it's like, if you gained a whole bunch of street smarts on a particular field or area of life, would it suddenly be BS now if you wrote it down and someone fucking read it? It's like people act like if they came to you and asked you, how does this thing work that you're so good at? You have wisdom, and they act like it would be better to ask you than to read something that you wrote about the thing. It's like, go to someone with street smarts. That's how you get smarter. Right, this guy over here, he has street smarts. He knows. He's had the experience. Well, it's like, guess what? So does the author. And it's like, well, you can't necessarily trust the author, but I can't necessarily trust the guy who is reputed to have street smarts. You know? Is my microphone even working? But anyway, I really don't know if there's book smarts. There are street smarts that you pick up in the form of words on pages. That's all that there are. And it's like, I guess, like, it's like, it's more like, it hits your senses more when you experience it yourself. I understand that. And therefore it becomes like better, easier to remember, or more like intimate with your emotional memory and stuff like that when you've actually experienced it versus when you've read it. I get that, but like once you've experienced it yourself, how do you pass on the information? You write it down. And then what? All your information that you call street smarts and experience now suddenly becomes book smarts for the next person who fucking picks up what you learned. It's not like there's like, I don't know, like it all eventually becomes book smarts. It's it's hard to explain. Like anyway, I guess I'll talk about something else now. I just had this memory of a second grade field trip where this woman, this other second grade teacher, was not my teacher. She came in on a game of dodgeball because I was winning so much. She had to try to beat me. It was this game where all the students stand around in a circle, and some students stand in the middle. And the students on the outside throw balls at the students on the inside. And you're only allowed to aim at their feet and their legs, nothing above the waist. And I was just winning so much. I was one of the last kids in the middle. And this one teacher in the field trip came and just like had to join because I was winning so much. And it was honestly amazing how good I am before the teacher shows up. There was this other demonstration of that when I was a kid in school. It was at track and field day in like third or fourth grade. And it was with my friend John with basketball at King of the Courts. I would make so many shots in a row. I would never miss, him and I. And what was I just talking about before King of the Courts thing? Oh, one of the second grade teachers joined in on the dodgeball. She came in, and suddenly my mind warped. This loss of confidence. And, like, I lost the ability to just, like, unashamedly overcome my opponent's mind. And she, like, tricked me out very quickly. I just don't know if it was because of her wisdom or was it because of my like fear of the fact that it was a teacher. But I remember later, yeah, in basketball, I was so good with John. I made like almost every shot, and it was just one of our balls would go in first. It was just discerning whose ball went in first. Like they always went in, but whose ball went in first, mine or John's? But right when the teacher showed up, I really sucked. I don't know why. But before the teacher was there, I was so good. Um, it was one of the fourth grade teachers or something like that. But anyway, dude, my dad had a story about this too. A similar phenomenon. Where he was amazing at something before he realized another thing. He was playing pool in a bar, beating a guy, and a friend or some other bar guy comes up and tells my dad, "Do you realize that the guy you're playing with is a professional pool player? He's like a champion at some tournament or something like that." And my dad, right when he came to realize this, started sucking at pool. It's like, dude, it's a real phenomenon. It's it's also sort of unexpectable though, or unexpected. Like, I can't just expect to juggle better when no one's watching, and then start juggling worse when someone comes around. It happens with things that you're not even expecting. You just get on a roll with something, and then right when somebody comes into the room, it's like all of the magic fucks up, and the plates fall, everything breaks. The spinning basketball on the forks and the plates spinning on top of it, they all fall. And it's just like, what was just happening before that? But I guess that's all I'll talk about in this podcast. Here in my first podcast. But I might live stream another podcast. Like maybe tomorrow or something, but if you listen to this one, thanks.